What I've got here is my Allen Bradley Micrologix 1100 PLC, and hooked to it here with these wires I have a rotary encoder. So what this device does is it has a shaft, kind of like a motor, but when it turns, when it gets turned rather, it produces electrical pulses. So each rotation of the shaft produces 360 pulses in this case, and because it's a two-phase rotary encoder, it knows which direction the shaft is being turned. Over here on my desktop, I've written a little application that uses OPC-DA, which is a method of communication that allows a computer to talk through the network to a PLC and read and write data to it. So that's a way of kind of collecting data on a Windows system from the PLC. So basically what I've got here is if I turn this shaft, each time I turn it a full rotation, I moved it a little too much, but it's 360 pulses, so I'm just going to turn it again. And if I turn it counterclockwise, it's reading the pulses, and I've got it programmed in the PLC to count down in a case where it's being rotated counterclockwise. So over here on the PLC, I've got one of the switches configured where if I flip it, it resets my counter back to 0. So I'm going to turn this thing a few times just to do a little demonstration here. And what's going on here on the screen is I'm measuring the pulses, and if I click this button that says record footage, it's taking those pulses and dividing them by 360 to give a footage reading. And the way that's going to work is I'm going to have a wheel mounted to the shaft that has a 1 foot circumference. So for every time the wheel turns the 360 degrees, that represents 1 foot of movement. So if I turn this thing again a few times and click my button to take another reading, turned it 3 times, so that is right at 3 feet. So the idea here is that if the wheel was up against some kind of material moving through a production line, and that material was turning the wheel, this thing can measure the footage of material that's going through the line. And so there would probably be some kind of electronic eye or other sensor that would recognize when to take a reading, and this program would just read the value out of the PLC and then reset the counter. So that's how it works. It's using again a Micrologix 1100 PLC and what's called the high-speed counter input on that device. Hope you enjoy.